Hi guys, welcome back to a new video, and today I am doing a marker illustration of two of my characters, Olivia and Luke. So when it comes to the background, I decided to try something different. So when I was sketching out like the concept of this illustration, I knew I wanted it to be original character based because that is what I'm mostly comfortable with, as well as what I enjoy drawing more. And so I need to try and remember, like, hey, if that's what you want to do, just keep making illustrations of your characters and be happy, I guess. I don't know. So when I was sketching the concept of this drawing, I was like, let's make it more interesting by just outlining the characters and just go crazy with the background. So no line art whatsoever, no guide really, even though I did use a reference. But yeah, that's what I want to go for. This is very inspired by an artist I still watch till this day. I'll post her name on the screen right now. She is, I don't know, she just has like a loose feeling when it comes to illustrations and how she colors her characters, and it always has been inspiring when I watch it, because I'm like, I want to do that. She looks like she's having so much fun. So for this video, I want to try and test to see, like, am I better outlining the background or not? After coloring, well, finishing it, I don't really know, because one thing I did notice was the color theory. Even though I did use a reference, I decided to go a different path and basically choose my own colors. The only downside is the colors were not really matching correctly at first, and then the markers, I used Copic and Ohuhu markers. It got to the point where after the background was fully colored, I was like, I have to go over everything again with colored pencil, because again, I haven't used the markers I have for a long time, really. So some dried out or on the verge of drying out. So I was just like coloring, especially with the yellow marker. I think it was Copic. Ohuhu markers, I believe they were more like easier to handle, but the Copics, it's like you have to use them every day, or like if you set them aside for a week, they'll dry out. So I used the yellow Copic marker, and as I was coloring the background, it was slowly losing its color, and I was like, oh my gosh, please. But yeah, I handled it, I guess. Honestly, this whole illustration was inspired because I wanted to draw my characters interacting more. I feel like I have a better time drawing when I include my characters actually interacting with each other. So that's what I did, and I wanted it to be very cute. So I'm like, let's draw two of my characters in a kitchen, and you could see Olivia, the girl on the right, she's like amused at the pot. Either that or the cats. I don't know really, and I think it's her eyes. I'm trying not to be too picky about how her eyes look, but most definitely I tried to make it to where she's looking at the pot, and I don't know what they're cooking, by the way. Maybe stew or something. And I also decided to add cats because I think that's my signature trademark, I guess. I don't know. More specifically, derpy looking cats. So I do somewhat want to learn anatomy of cats, but I feel like that just takes away the magic of how I draw them. I like how they're like round looking, and it's more cute, I guess. And with Luke, the guy on the left, I feel like I drew him very well. He is obviously an adult character, so I did not want him to look like a little kid. So when I drew and inked his eyes, his overall facial features, I was very happy because he looks like an adult, and I was relieved. He kind of resembles a Bishonen character, but I don't really know how to draw that type of style, really. I wish I did, but oh well. So that's honestly it I have for the background. I'll see you guys later when I talk about like the texture and coloring the characters. Okay, so when it comes to coloring the characters, I do have a color swatch paper I have of each of my characters, of what Copic markers I use for them, Ohuhu markers, etc. And after coloring them, I'm still like I kind of want to again change their overall design again, and as well as come up with more of a simplified color swatch, because as I was coloring them, I noticed like some colors don't really blend well together, or it's just not needed. So I think a good example is, well, it does not relate to this illustration, but the other day I was sketching in my sketchbook and I was coloring my character Rain. I'm kind of getting sick of her overall design, and if I'm pretty sure I didn't mention this, but her design is heavily influenced by Demon Slayer. Even though I have not watched the show, I do love how some of the characters' outfits look. But now I'm like, maybe she needs more of a simple outfit. I don't know. And so back to this illustration. So, I when it came to their clothing, I made sure not to add bring in new Copic or marker colors into the illustration, and I decided to just use what I had. And I do have like a somewhat huge pile of markers that are still sitting at my desk. I I'm happy that I use like a limited color palette somewhat, because again, I did not want to bring in more colors and like put everything away at the very end. I will be very annoyed. As you can see, I love to incorporate like more earth tone colors, so the characters as well as the background, they have somewhat of an earth tone situation going on. So you see like the what is the tabletop, tabletop to the outfits, to the plants, and to the shelves. Side note, the shelves on the left, they were actually pretty hard to color without a guideline, really. Like I said before, it was heavily referenced. I just went on Pinterest and looked up a random kitchen, a simplified earth type kitchen, and I found one. And the shelves on the reference, they were like slightly tilted, but it's like a perspective thing, and I'm not really good at perspective, but I'm not horrible. Like if I actually like look at the picture and try, I'll nail it. But like if it's just like at the top of my head, I totally am horrible at perspective. So yeah, that's honestly it for coloring the characters. Again, I used the guideline I have of all my characters, and I made sure the colors matched. Again, I do want to maybe one day sit down and redesign my characters again and make possibly not just them but their color palettes more simple, just to make it easier for me. And yeah, so let me just end it here, and I'll come back later and discuss the final segment, which is the texture. Okay, so the last segment, which is me talking about the texture. As I said before, the markers I used, especially the Copic markers, were somewhat drying out, so I had to go back and use colored pencils as a way to make the background more, I guess, convincing and more better, I guess. And if you guys are wondering, my go-to colored pencils are always Crayola. I used to have Prismacolor and they do work well too, but for the art style or the art way of how I color and stuff, I prefer like a simple, more simplified type style. So Crayolas, they always do the job. Not really the marker. I'm kind of iffy about the markers, but I have a bunch of Crayola colored pencils and I use those. And yeah, it really did bring in the texture for everything. I did not really use it for the characters because they seemed fine, but like the floor on the background, the walls, they needed something because they were looking horrible. I love this illustration. It did take a while. As you can see, this is uploaded super late and I was thinking about making it like a two-parter, but I just couldn't do it. I wanted this illustration done so I could work on something else. And yeah, please let me know down below what you guys think about this illustration. I personally like it. It's super cute. It reminds me of how I would used to draw on Procreate, because ever since I got the app, I haven't been really doing traditional art really, and it really shows because it's easy to fix things on Procreate compared to like real life. And yeah, I'm just gonna go. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next Friday for a new video. Bye!